so over the past few days I did break my fast. Just to recap on what was going on, I was fasting for an entire month, and what I noticed is that when the food was replaced out, I got all the way down to the end of the month, which I actually felt just a little bit weak. I felt like maybe I should eat a little bit more, but all I did was I ate a piece of fruit and some honey, and it immediately like rectified it. I was just like awake. So if I'm not completely decalcified, you're gonna find yourself, especially if you're trying to break out, like you use your entire cardiovascular, your whole body's energy gets depleted, you become exhausted. That's something that happens, but typically when I fast for a month, I don't get tired at all. So what I notice is that if there is some kind of weakness, it's only because of the calcification. It can't feed you 100%. If you are, so you're literally gonna go through a threshold where you're like right on the edge, and then you're gonna like break into like being able to be fed. So one thing that I did notice is that even though I did stop this fast after like 3 or 4 days of just eating whatever it was I wanted, I was still able to connect this hook connection, which I'm noticing that Maui has, and the Christ has the hook, and the Black Sun has the hook, the Candyman dude or whatever. So once this is established, which is very important that you spend more time sun gazing than you do eating. If you do that, then you'll be able to make this hook happen. And when it does happen, you don't regress back from it. It's a threshold. It's like a Mario checkpoint. Once you pass it, you're straight and you move forward from there. So that's really a great thing. And you kind of get lost in it, almost kind of like if the sun was floating and you were just kind of hanging from it and just going wherever the sun went for that day, kind of like a balloon or something. And you're just trying to hang on to reality, but you just kind of lose that, and you're just floating somewhere in this light, and you kind of go into it too, which is kind of engulfs you. It's pretty cool. So that's the next phase, and it seems like there's never-ending thresholds. So after your nose feels like it's going to blow off your face and this is coming out, you will start noticing more and more doodles and the sun more and more. And when you do that, this hook situation happens, and then you just kind of got to float around in it and kind of find your way through that. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next week and a half. I'm just going to let you know what happens. And it seems that while this is happening, it's slowly pulling it out more. So it's almost like an umbilical cord or something. It's like it's connected, and once it gets connected, it's like plugged in, and it slowly just kind of pushes it out of your face. So this shit's all like cracking and shit, and it's really intense. But when that happens, it's almost as if this was like a bone that was ready to switch out, like a switchblade. Like it's like, and there's just so much stuff blocking it that it just ain't gonna switch out. But while that's happening, it's an intense amount of pressure, and your nose feels like it's gonna blow off, and all this is gonna feel like it's gonna, like your forehead is like growing a giant zit or something. Like it's weird, like you got some kind of thing in your head, and it's like coming out, and it's making a connection. So that's pretty interesting. It's something new that I wanted to share with y'all. During that time, I did just pretty much eat whatever I wanted, because I kind of missed some foods, which was actually kind of exciting, and I didn't even regress from a spot. But you do have to like work a little harder towards it when you reestablish the connection again. For like maybe 5-10 minutes, it just breaks through the thin layer. And I recommend organics, even though there's a lot of phosphates in that shit. It's still pretty much salt, so you might as well just eat as good as you can if you can, and then distill water in a glass the better, because if you put BPA and all that in there, it just kind of like sends you in circles. But yeah, try to sun gaze more than you eat, and that's how you get to these thresholds. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you feel like you need to eat sometimes, that's all right. I'm getting ready to go back into it again, and then I'm trying to make this week one of those weeks that I try to break through or whatever. So thanks for checking in. Stay tuned, and when you get awake, stay awake.